My name is Griffin Ramsdell. I grew up in Medford. I went to school in Medford, and then I went to college here in Portland.
Awesome.
Went to the University of Portland. And then I went in the military. I always grew up around the military life, between grandparents and things like that. But I also grew up loving airplanes. I went through the ROTC at the University of Portland, and I went into the Air Force after I graduated. After that, I became what's called a combat systems officer, or a navigator. So I flew the AC-130 gunship, and I served for about 5 years. I deployed to Afghanistan once, making a difference and taking care of the guys on the ground. I mean, as a gunship, that's our job. I came home from my deployment in 2013. I wasn't feeling very well, went to the doctor, and I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at age 26, I believe it was. And then about a year later, I was medically retired at my current rank as captain. One of the most difficult things about transitioning from military to civilian life was the people, missing my friends. Because, as I said, I flew the gunship, which is an airplane, it's a mechanical part, but what makes it so special is the people. And working with them day in and day out and living next to them, because it's a small town. So missing that community. I met my wife Amber in 2011. She was also in the Air Force, and she was on a temporary duty to Alabama. We actually met in Biloxi, Mississippi, because that's about 2 hours west of Pensacola, and we met at the Hard Rock Casino. We dated long distance for 10 months, and then I asked her to marry me in late September of 2011. Did it in Arkansas. Then we got married in September of 2012. We lived apart until 2014 when we both left the military. We were both medically retired, and we moved to Portland together. So by the time we lived together, we'd been married for over 2 years. So after we bought the house here in 2015, we'd been trying to have a child, and so we were going through infertility treatments. And then we did that for well over a year, probably almost 2 years, honestly. And then in July of this year, she said she wasn't feeling well one day and passed out. And we found out it was due to a blood clot, and that's the day we lost her. And then after that, we had a funeral mass here for her at our parish in Beaverton, and then I took her home to Texas, where she's buried on her family's property. So after we lost Amber, everybody was, they said, how can we help? What can we do? Call me if you need anything, I'll be there. But really, I'd say only about maybe 10 or 20% of the people that actually said that really meant it. I feel like everybody else didn't know how to deal with it. There were a lot of questions as far as, would I stay in my home here? Would I move? What would I do? And I was kind of confused a little bit, because it's my home, and I'm from here. I have a community here, and so I wanted to stay. We had lots of projects that we were planning, that were on the list of things to do, because it's a little bit older home. It was built in the 80s. So one of them was flooring. One of them was, the kitchen a little bit, new bathrooms, fix up the backyard, things of that nature. So bit by bit, starting to whittle away at those. When I heard that a company wanted to do this, it was very, I don't want to say confusing, but it was kind of shocking, because a lot of times the veterans are kind of forgotten a little bit. Not just here, just generally. We're just kind of that subset of society that people, again, don't really know how to interact with at times, even though we're really no different than anybody else, obviously. When I found out I was selected, I was surprised. I was at work. We were talking when I was at work, and I had a hard time focusing for a little while because I was so surprised. But it definitely made me very, very happy. One of my perceptions is that just generally, just nationwide as a whole, is that veterans, and I alluded to this earlier, they tend to be forgotten. You don't really hear about veterans' issues. You don't hear that people are constantly deployed, they're constantly away from their families, they're constantly gone, and they've dealt with a lot of traumas. Not just physical, emotional, mental, that kind of thing. I think that I'd like to tell the people that would like to help and recognize vets is that we are everywhere. Veterans are everywhere, and a lot of people you won't even know. Could be anybody from the age of 20 to the age of 90-something. You know, we don't all wear veteran hats on. Sometimes it's hard to tell. But to help veterans, I think it could be anywhere from a thank you, or just treating us just like anybody else, to actually, you know, reaching out, and if, say, a disabled veteran needs a wheelchair ramp or needs help getting something, just ask how you can help. Most people aren't too proud to say if they need something.